Meanwhile, Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi has clarified that his administration will conclude its tenure on May 29, 2023, irrespective of its challenges. He made that clear today while reacting to the judgment of the appeal court sitting in Enugu, which affirmed the judgment of the Ebonyi High Court on his defection. The Ebonyi High Court had quashed a suit challenging the defection of the governor from the PDP to the APC in November 2020. We now have joining us on our primetime news, Honorable Adiogu is a political and public affairs analyst. Is joining us to discuss cross-carpeting, as it were. Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening, Tolu. How are you this night?
I'm very well, thank you. And you? Okay. Now, defection, cross-carpeting, as it were. We're not just going to focus on Umahi because Umahi is just one of several cases, and elections are coming. So we can also say that defection season is here, cross-carpeting season is here. So why do you are also a politician? I'm very much aware. So why then do we see things like this when politicians have been voted in and the mandate has been entrusted to them? Why then do they take it for granted and just shift camps?
Thank you very much. This topic is a complex one because, as we all know, defection, which can also be said to be cross-carpeting, is one of the major bane of democratic process, especially in Nigeria, because I can say Nigerian politics are devoid of entrenched ideology. See, I don't see somebody who is being voted for as a governor in a particular political party. Then I have to defect to another party. There are so many things. You see, the question I will equally want to ask and ask our viewer after explaining this of whose interest. Is it the interest of the personality or of those that have voted that person into power? So I personally do not wish to discuss it because I feel it's an aberration. Those who feel it is part of our ideology, I feel they miss it. And probably because of what is actually entrenched in our law, in our constitution, that when there is a crisis in the political party, an individual has a right probably to move on to another platform.
Okay, very good. That's very well. Now, you just mentioned interest, the issue of interest here. In whose interest is it cross-carpeting? Is it in the interest of the masses, the party, or the individuals? Now, one would think that before any politician joins a political party, the very first consideration would be the ideology of that political party and the person's individual or political ideology, the politician's political ideology. Where do they throw this matter, this subject of ideology when they begin to cross-carpet?
The individualism in Nigerian politics has taken charge of what democratic tenure is supposed to be. I feel somehow when I see the players, especially those who are at the top echelon. I remember last year, it's one of the funniest one that I've ever seen. It's when we were about having a Edo state governorship election last year, when the governor defected the same day and took the party ticket of another political party, just because they feel they could do whatever they like. So I feel if that is not entrenched in the constitution or extant law, it should be discouraged entirely in society.
Okay, that's okay then.
Not in the interest of the voter.
The next thing I want us to touch on is the strength or the credibility or the noble strength of the political party and the politician themselves. Now, when politicians or public office holders begin to jump ships like this, how does that affect, in your opinion, how does that affect the the authenticity of the political party, their original party? How does that affect the credibility of the politician, of the public office holder, and believability?
We are still saying the same thing. You see, in Nigerian constitution, as an aspect of it that say you have liberty to who you want to associate with. So it gives you liberty to associate with anybody you want to. But what we are saying is that when some people have entrenched their votes to you, their life to you, it is wrong for you to jump ship, to abandon them midway and say you want to go to another political party. One, I believe that the formation of political party, especially in Nigeria, is actually to control the government. And when you want to control the government, you believe in looking for those who should be your associate. So, the extant law actually that is in the constitution has actually given room for this kind of defection, or the one we call cross-carpeting in those days, because it is the fault of this entrenched ideology, which I feel it's not in vogue in the democracy where we borrowed our own democracy from. Well, in America, you see those two ideological parties remain there even when they are losing the election. But in Nigeria, in the night of an election, somebody can defect and still be given a ticket in another party, because probably that political party feel that person, that individual is the one that can give them what they want to actually be in charge of governance.
This might be my last question to you tonight, yeah? When politicians cross carpet, because from the feelers we get in the society, in the Nigerian environment, someone goes from APC to PDP, for instance, or from PDP to APC, and APC is making us believe that they are in for a change. And yet someone now jumps ship from PDP, purely for the sake of example, from PDP to APC. And they still want us to believe, the APC wants us to believe that, okay, they are still serious about creating a change. How do you marry or reconcile the same ideologies, quote and unquote, that the APC is condemning in PDP? How do you want us to reconcile that with how they accept defectors or cross-carpeters in droves?
We are still talking of this entrenched ideology that is prevalent, that's not prevalent in Nigerian culture. You see, it's baffling when let me first of all point this out, that almost all politicians in Nigeria are the same. We have the same ideology to control governance. We don't have robust opposition in Nigeria. When the PDP were ruling, the APC were actually agitating to be in governance. Today, the APC is in government. The PDP are trying. We are not seeing anything tangible that they are doing to prove to Nigerians that when they get there, they are going to do something better. Let me give you the case of Governor Umahi.
Yeah.
Though, fortunately for him today, because of that immunity clause that he has, the appeal court has actually struck out, and we have to continue governing the state at least at the end of the tenure. I feel what people feel, it might be alleged, is that probably he wanted to come to the APC to contest. But he has said that he wants to bring the state to the national grid. That is to the party that is ruling at the national level, so that they will have more development. But I feel that is actually devoid of this entrenched ideology. Because those who voted for you were in a political party, you are now in another political party. Are you sure those that voted for you will be returning back to that political party with you? Or you are going to leave some people behind? And what happened to those that you are leaving behind? So I feel this thing is personal. Until most of these things are removed from our extant law, from our constitution, we continue to see some of these things happen in Nigeria. And now I feel our National Assembly are already doing something similar. You see, the already signed electoral bill that was signed by the president recently. Most of the things that were entrenched there are some of the things that we feel will give us the level of the changes we have actually are creating for political development in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for your time on Primetime News. We hope that when someone
You're
like
welcome to
you
me.
eventually gets the opportunity to handle power, you do things differently. We hope and pray.
I promise I have never left the progressive, and I feel and I'm very sure I've never left the progressive family.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, hope you enjoyed the news. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the notification button so you get notified about fresh news updates.